Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and it's time for episode number 2 of my 1970s drive-in spectacular. I guess that's going to be the name because I can't think of anything better. The movie I'm going to look at today is actually a movie that is schlocky and did play in drive-ins. In fact, that's where it made most of its money in the 1970s. But it actually is a very influential film. The movie is The Legend of Boggy Creek, and some of the people who may be watching this based on the title of the video alone may want to know something about this DVD release, and I'll mention that a little bit towards the end of the video. But The Legend of Boggy Creek was released in late 1972. It was directed by a man named Charles B. Pierce, and basically what he did is he borrowed less than $200,000 from a trucking company in Arkansas and made this docudrama about, obviously, the Legend of Boggy Creek, which is this Bigfoot-like creature that was supposedly terrorizing a little town in Arkansas called Fouke, Arkansas. And I wanted to make sure I pronounced it correctly. Fouke, Arkansas, which apparently, based on some of the research that I did, was really terrorized by this type of creature. Now, some people have thought that it was a hoax and it was just something that the community did to garner some interest. Whatever it is, it makes for a fairly interesting, if schlocky, movie. So what Pierce does with this film is he sort of sets up a timeline and then films it documentary style with some recreations using some of the people that were supposedly involved in some of the episodes that happened on screen. So you see the early part of the film documents when the creature first started being sighted near the town, and then it was shot at and apparently driven off by some hunters, disappears for 8 years, and then it returns with a vengeance and apparently isn't very shy anymore. It actually starts attacking some people, and there are some recreations of some of those attacks. That's it as far as the plot goes. What makes this movie influential is the docudrama style. It influenced movies up to and including the Blair Witch Project, and the promotional special for the Blair Witch Project, I believe, actually references The Legend of Boggy Creek. So many movies have sort of borrowed liberally from The Legend of Boggy Creek in terms of the style. However, they've probably done it with a little more quality. This movie is extremely low budget. Like I said, it was made for less than $200,000. However, it made over $20 million running in primarily drive-ins in the 70s. It's very schlocky, and the reason I am including it in my drive-in spectacular is, of course, the fact that it played in drive-ins in the 70s. I saw it in the 70s, but I don't think I saw it at a drive-in. I think I did see it in an actual theater. However, this movie was rated G, so that's another key to its appeal, is that there really isn't anything gory or too terribly shocking shown on screen, but this attracted a lot of kids. Especially when I was a kid in the 1970s. This was a movie that I think all of my friends had seen, and because it attracted a lot of kids, it sort of came across as a lot scarier to kids than it might an adult now. And watching this as an adult, I watched it just maybe a half an hour ago, it did not seem terribly scary or anywhere near as scary as I remembered it to be. It did come across a lot more schlocky than anything else. And that's mainly due to the following schlocky things. The narration of the film is done with this down-home type feel, which makes it only slightly less surprising when a few musical numbers start. And I don't mean musical numbers where people are singing and dancing, but there are these songs with lyrics based on the occurrences in the film, featuring some characters by name. They are terrible. I will actually put a link to one of them below, so you can kind of get an idea, not only of just the way the film is shot, but also the quality of the songs that are included. The movie runs for an hour and 25 minutes, but I believe, and I'm being quite unofficial about this, it would seem like at least half of this movie is made up of nature footage, with the camera kind of panning across the tree lines or zooming in on birds or things swimming in the swamp, and then sprinkle in some action, some dialogue, and whatnot. The actors, like I said, many of them are actually people who were involved in these supposed Boggy Creek creature attacks or sightings. The others are not too terribly good in terms of acting, and from what I understand, some of them were actually high school students. More than, I would say, 90% of the people in this movie never were in another movie ever again. And I don't think a microphone was ever used while the filming occurred. It sounds like everything in this movie, from the songs, of course, to the dialogue that people are speaking, sound effects, everything sounds like it's overdubbed or slightly out of sync. Just barely, and I don't think it's the DVD copy that I have. I remember this being the case when I saw the film as a kid. It just, everything sort of sounded odd or unnatural or acoustically wrong, and it just gives the film just this bizarre, amateurish quality that just is really hilarious. I said this movie was influential in terms of inspiring certain things, even through today with the Blair Witch Project, but it also spawned a number of Bigfoot movies that were released in the 70s. Some of them straight documentaries, like a movie called The Mysterious Monsters, but others that were sort of based on the same type of feel as The Legend of Boggy Creek, with sort of a horror bent, some more than others. There was a movie called The Creature from Black Lake, another movie called Sasquatch, The Legend of Bigfoot. And of course, if you're a kid or were a kid in the 70s, or you can remember this, Bigfoot actually became a character on the $6 Million Man. Bigfoot was everywhere in the 70s, and I think mainly because of the success of this film. There was a movie in 1970 called Bigfoot that was really, really bad, with John Carradine. It didn't seem to spark as much interest as The Legend of Boggy Creek. And then, like I said, I did want to talk a little bit about the DVD release I have. This is the Cheesy Films release, or Cheesy Flicks release of the DVD. This is a cropped version where the widescreen has been kind of chopped down to a full screen aspect ratio. There is apparently a version that is fully widescreen, and it is by a company called RHR Productions, or something similar to that. If you want to watch this movie, you don't have to buy it. In fact, it's available for free on YouTube. It is also available for free on a website called the Internet Archive, I believe. So you don't have to pay to see this movie, and you probably wouldn't want to. I did. But I do recommend seeing it, just for the incredible camp value and the hysterical and historical value of The Legend of Boggy Creek. And I forgot to mention, of course, the dime store gorilla suit that is used to portray Bigfoot, or The Legend of Boggy Creek, whatever it is called, because they don't really call it Bigfoot in the movie. It's the swamp creature, or the creature, most of the time. Charles Pierce did a great job of hiding it and not showing it on screen. That kind of gives the movie a bit of a tense atmosphere. And that's the one thing this movie does have going for it, is it does have genuine suspense in some of the scenes. They do work, and I think that's why it did scare a lot of kids back in the 70s when they saw it. When I saw it, it scared me. Of course, like I said, it doesn't really have that ability to scare now. If I had to rate The Legend of Boggy Creek, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 in terms of the whole schlock factor. It really is worth seeing. So check it out. Like I said, you don't have to pay for it. Check it out on YouTube. Check it out at the Internet Archive. By all means, at least check out the clip that I've linked to below with the terrible song about Travis Crabtree. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for more 1970s drive-in movies coming at you, and of course, more of the usual stuff that I produce on this channel as well. So thanks for watching. Bye.